Hello and welcome to Mac the Podcast. This is episode 13, Lucky 13, sponsored by FileMaker. I am, as always, your host, Matthew Powell, the editor of Mac the Mag. This week I'm talking with Dan Warren.
Howdy.
And with Tim Goggin, who is the VP of Marketing for PocketMac.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Tim, you and your brother...
Terrence.
Yeah, I'd have got there. You and your brother Terrence founded PocketMac, and you still sort of run the company. Obviously, back in the day, it was PocketMac was how you got a Mac to talk to a Pocket PC-based device. It was sort of the PocketMac was kind of essentially a play on Pocket PC. Is that sort of roughly?
That's correct. That's where we started. That's correct.
And of course, it's expanded there to be really, if you want your Mac to be talking to almost any mobile device, PocketMac is one of the key solutions on the market for doing that, regardless of the mobile platform, including Blackberries, including Palms, and including still Windows. What do they call it?
Windows Mobile.
Windows Mobile. That's the one. It's the version of Windows that's even less effective than Vista. I always forget.
Some of our customers would beg to disagree, but but I understand.
Have you sort of done anything recently with Android, with Google's new mobile platform?
We have not. I mean, it's certainly one of those things we're investigating. It's certainly an exciting platform. And to be honest, there's so many exciting platforms at this time. It seems like there's no shortage of it. So whether it's the Palm Pre or what have you, but nothing specific as of yet with the Android.
Okay, the Palm Pre has a what do they call it? WebOS, is that right?
Yes, that's my understanding. Yes.
And you haven't done anything with that either?
Not as of yet.
It's very new, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of everything else, there was absolutely nothing. And then,
that's correct.
Yes, I think people sort of saw PocketMac as kind of the shining white knight.
Yes.
Do you think that the reason why companies like yours exist is that manufacturers of mobile devices have done a pretty average job in the past of documenting how to communicate with these devices? Like, do they kind of deliberately try to keep people using their proprietary software, or is there some improvement happening in the marketplace towards making devices more open and interoperable with other software?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think there's two answers to that. Number one, I don't think it's sort of a deliberate attempt for manufacturers to sort of keep people bound to whatever connectivity solution they want. I honestly think that for the longest time, until the iPod and the iPhone, a lot of people just didn't really take the Mac market that seriously. And I think that's definitely changing.
Shivering Kittens is a game.
Yes.
That is you rescue kittens from blocks of ice.
You got it. That's an accurate summary, yes.
Which is somewhat different to rescuing your email messages from Windows Mobile.
A little bit, yeah.
But, there's a similar principle involved. Your mail is probably as precious to you as a small defenseless kitten, and Windows Mobile is probably as harsh and unforgiving as a block of ice. So you can see where there's a commonality in theme. It does, however, seem something of a departure. Why such an odd sort of tangent in your development? I mean, you're a utility company, and all of a sudden there's these kittens frozen in ice.
Well, I think, the thing is, there are so many iPhone games and apps out there that if you just go towards something that exact clone of something that's out there, I mean, there's just no way to stand out. So when we do iPhone game development, we always try to do it with something that's sort of, frankly, a little off kilter or different. So they do stand out. So they appeal to one specific market very strongly.
And we're back. And it's time now just to wrap up a little bit with some final thoughts. Dan, what have you got to share with us?
I've been wondering about the Microsoft retail store strategy this week.
And I can't help but wonder if the decision, what Microsoft has said, they're going to go for stores that are located near Apple stores, kind of saying, well, we're sticking with the blank and ship strategy.
And that seems sort of just like, just aping someone else's strategy. And again, I can't speak to what the experience at a Microsoft store would be like, but it seems kind of like doing yesterday's strategy, whereas Apple is already clearly moving on to whatever Apple is going to do next.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a really bad look for a company to come out and say, oh, yes, we're going to be right next to that competitor we don't care about at all. And I was particularly sore this year when I bought my MacBook Pro about 4 months ago. It cost me, like I always buy the top spec one, and it was, I think it was up towards $5,000, and then
it's a lot, yeah.
And then they re-released
a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And then they re-released the MacBook Pro with the integrated battery.
They're paying you too much. $5,000. You spend this every year.
I salary sacrifice it, you see, so it comes out to be about half that by the time you take tax into account and everything. But they re-released the MacBook Pro with the integrated battery, and it's a lot cheaper. And I was feeling kind of, had a bit of buyer's regret about that because I obviously bought at a point in time when Apple was hiking up the prices because they could, due to a very strong economy.
Yeah, I think that it's probably a good thing that there is some pressure on them. I agree with you guys.
Yeah. I think it is. It's handy that there's some more competitive pricing sort of available.
Exactly, and I like the fact that the market constrains that in Apple a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we will wrap up there. Thank you very, very much for joining us, Tim. Thank you, Dan, for your time. And thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope we didn't annoy you too much. Have a good one.